Hey guys, Jack's Free Auto Mechanic. If you haven't done so already, I'd appreciate it if you hit the subscribe button down there. It'd help us out a lot in the long run, and it'll help keep us bringing more content to you. Today, working on the Jeep Wrangler that we picked up a few weeks back. We're going to do a transmission fluid service. This is a standard shift, 5-speed. But another thing that I wanted to point out, the 2.5 liters transmission is an AX-15. So it is a non-synchro mesh transmission, where this one is a synchro mesh transmission. And why I'm pointing that out is it's very important that you use the right kind of fluid in this transmission. The synchronizers are made with bronze gears, and they require the synchro mesh fluid. Now, of course, the manual says use Mopar only. Well, they make I think a little better, which is this royal purple. Some recommend using the red line, which probably works just as good. Now, one of the reasons why I'm going with the royal purple is it's a fully synthetic fluid. Now, the synthetic, why do I need synthetic? Well, the synthetic fluids work better in colder climates. So if you live in Miami, Florida, it's probably not going to make that big a difference for you. But I live out here in Ohio, where it gets pretty cold during the winter, and anything below 40 degrees on the regular, you're going to benefit by having synthetic fluids and oil in the engine. Because what that does is it coats everything, and it keeps it coated even on cold initial starts. And hopefully we'll see a big improvement in our shifts. Now, they advertise the royal purple as providing smoother shifts. If it's taking a little longer for the shifter to go in, it's because your synchronizers aren't able to move as free as they should. And you don't know that if the last guy that took it to the shop that had the transmission fluid serviced, if they had just whatever oil they had on hand put in there and sent on down the road. We're not sure. This one had 185,000 miles on it when I got it. So I'm not certain if it's ever been changed or not, but I thought if I'm going to drain it out, I'm going to put new back in it. Now, a few of the things that we're going to need to do this today. Of course, we're going to need our oil, and I've got 4 quarts, thinking I'm going to need 3.5. And I've chosen the Royal Purple Synchro Max, which is for manual transmissions. That's what we're looking for. Now, to fill it back up, if you've got some hose that'll work, you could take this hose and attach it on the end. Put it in there and try and hold this up high enough to where it'll gravity feed in. That's one method of doing it. But they do offer a little pump that screws on there, and you can just pump the fluid right in. I've not used one, but I went ahead and purchased it. Thought I'd give it a try, and we see how it works. I'm hopeful. Now, another thing you're going to need is a 17mm Allen head. That's a pretty large size. I don't know that anybody's going to have those laying around, but they might. But you'll need that, and of course some sort of ratchet to put it on. You need a drain pan, and then you'll need some way of getting up underneath of it. I like my high dollar creeper. It's universal. It works on most vehicles. We're just going to slide up under there, and there's 2 plugs. One's on the very bottom. We're going to unscrew that, and that'll drain it out. And there's one on the top on the side, and that's our fill plug. Now, once we drain it out, you just empty it out, take your fill plug out, put your drain plug back in, and you just fill the fluid level up to the very top of that fill plug. So should be pretty simple and straightforward. if I didn't mention it before, it's always handy to have a rag. Keep your hands clean. I'm going to go ahead and show you. All right, here's our drain plug. And then right up above, so we'll drain it from there, fill it in here. And you can see there's not a whole lot of room up there, but if you had, you could shove a bottle up in there with a rubber hose on it, and it might gravity feed in there pretty good. It's coming out pretty good. Something I noticed is all these little tiny metal fragments. This is a magnet. So you're going to want to make sure that you clean that off. There's quite a bit on there. So you don't want that back in there, and you want it to continue collecting up any kind of metal fragments. Doesn't have to be perfect because it's still magnetic, but you can see there was quite a bit. And the fluid that came out looks pretty clean. That's a good sign. Doesn't have to be super tight, just snug it up. Now, one thing I will suggest is, and I probably should have said so earlier, but it's a good idea to make sure you can get your top plug loose before you take and drain all the fluid out of it. You don't want to be stuck not being able to put fluid back in it. So the next thing we need to do is, now we've got it drained, got our fill plug open, and get one of these ready. try out our new little fluid pump here. I'm kind of anxious and excited and hopeful that it'll work. Looks like it's got two different lengths, so I guess if you're using a long quart bottle or a short quart bottle, you can see they're pre-notched, so that's pretty good. Yeah. The fluid's even purple. I guess that's why they call it royal purple. It looks like you need to hold on to this part to release it. Fluid even smells good. And now we should be able to just put that into the fill hole and just pump it to get it in there. So let's give that a try. All right, we'll just put our hose up in there. Well, if that isn't handy. Working pretty good. Looks like that's pumped that one out. Didn't take too long. Now we'll just switch it over to another jug. Sounds like there's just a tiny bit left in there. Not much. So it emptied it out pretty good. Hose back up where we had it. Yeah, I see it dripping out. So it looks to me like it's only holding 2.5 quarts. Either way, you want to fill it till it starts coming out of the fill hole, and then you're full. So right now we're full, so we can stop pumping it. Once it's full, hits the full line, it drips out the drain plug, which is what it's doing. You go ahead and put your, it comes out the fill plug. Beautiful. So, all in all, I was really pleased with the fluid pump. I think that's what they called it. This fluid pump by Slippery Pete. I was really happy with that. So far, I'm pretty happy with the oil. It's really, really slick. Little confusion on exactly why it only took 2.5 quarts. But as far as this little pump's concerned, it says that when you're done using it, just wash it with soap and water, let it air dry, and then put it back in your package so you can use it again the next time and you're not contaminating the oil with other oils products. So it's not a one-time use deal. So there you have it. 17mm Allen head bolt, some fluid, this magic pump, creeper and a drain pan. That's all it takes to change the transmission fluid. Now it only held 2.5 quarts, so I've got some left over, thankfully. I'd rather have more than not enough. I'm not sure exactly where the discrepancy is on what's published in the different manuals on what it holds. I did go back and recheck my owner's manual. It just says fill it to the fill plug. It doesn't say exactly how much, which I find odd. But either way, now we need to take it out and give it a nice test drive and see what we think. Alright, so now we just need to go run it through the gears a few times and see what we think. Seems to be shifting real well. I've got it saying A+ on the upgrade of the fluid. Thanks for watching.